Well, I'm joined now by Matt Mahmood Ogston, whose fiancée Naz took his own life in 2014, just 2 days after telling his religious parents about his 13-year relationship with Matt. Naz had been told by his family to go to a psychiatrist and find a cure. Matt then set up the charity Naz and Matt Foundation to raise awareness of homophobia. Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening, Matt. And first of all, what do you make of this news from this new strategy, which is going to include an end to those attempts to convert people?
I think it's a very good first step, but it's this is really a declaration. No changes in law have actually been made. So when those changes in law have been made, I think that's when it's going to be, heading in the right direction. It's really important that the government makes this statement and continues with this statement to actually criminalise any form of gay queer therapy, any form of treatment, or where someone's sexuality or sexual orientation is being forcibly changed because of somebody else's idea of what is correct. And now the thing is, this type of treatment, if you can call it, it's really abuse. And it's fraudulent as well because it can't work. Individuals who experience it are 9 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts. And in the extreme cases that our foundation particularly hears about and actually has to deal with are individuals where their parents are beating them, burning them, or forcibly trying to exorcise the devil, the gayness, beat the gayness out of their own children because they feel there is something wrong with them. And that part of them, which is their sexual identity, their sexual orientation, they believe it's a disease that needs to be cured. And so while there is still a legal cure available, why can't a parent think that it can be cured? Of course it can't be cured.
And tell us a bit about your partner, because he came under pressure, didn't he, when he talked about his sexuality to his parents?
Yes, so in 2014, we've been together for 13 years, and there was a confrontation, and for the first time in Naz's 34-year life, his family found out about his sexuality, that he was in a relationship with me. We were very happy and engaged to be married, and his parents' reaction was to tell him to go to a psychiatrist to be cured, because they'd heard radio programmes curing people like him. Now his response was, why do I need to be cured? There's nothing wrong with me. Why can't people just accept me for who I am? And that conversation was left unfinished, and then 2 days later I received a phone call to come home, and I wasn't told why. I raced off the tube, ran up the hill, and that's when I saw our road was closed off and there was police everywhere, and the crowds gathered, and when they put me into the police car not telling me what was wrong or what had happened, that's when I saw a red blanket on the floor, and that's when I found out that my soulmate, Naz, had sadly taken his own life because he couldn't be accepted for who he was and how he was born.
So you feel that that pressure on him undoubtedly contributed to his death?
Absolutely. The coroner's report reported the same findings, and really, since setting up the Naz and Matt Foundation, we've heard a lot of stories. I mean, we're talking hundreds of stories of individuals in very similar situations from different religious backgrounds, where their parents believe that somehow, for some reason, that being gay is wrong and it can be cured. And this, in the stories that we've been told about, has led to beatings, torturing, burnings, and exorcisms as well in some cases. And so unfortunately there is a pattern and there's a frequency which needs to change, and the only way to do that is to start changing the narrative and make parents realise that it can't be cured and there's nothing wrong with it.
Banning these conversion therapies is just one part of the strategy that we've heard about today. There's going to be new attempts to educate people, to inform, make sure that police are better informed about it and so on. Do you think the government is on the right track here?
They're at the starting point, I would say, because we've been campaigning for this issue for the last 3 years. The first 2 responses from the 2 petitions that we've been watching and participating in, the government's response was lacklustre and not enough. Now, this is a great step in the right direction, But until we actually see the changes being made, and actually the government supporting organisations like ours and other organisations in the community that tries to work with parents to help educate them and really give them a really nice positive future, that actually the child they're given birth to is beautiful and wonderful, and they should be celebrated for how they were born.
Attitudes towards LGBT people have changed quite a bit, but do you think that is still the key here, that it's about changing public social attitudes?
Yes, it is. I think the wider community has evolved and developed and improved greatly over the last few decades. But sadly, in closed communities where there is a stronger religious or cultural belief, that's the communities that we need to work with more to actually educate, not tell them, but actually work with them to take them on a journey of understanding, to allow them to realise that there is this bright future where they can love the child they're given birth to and actually feel great about it and actually accept them unconditionally for who they are.
Okay, Matt Mahmood Ogston, thank you very much indeed for joining us and for sharing your story with us.